Good morning. God bless. Hope y'all are doing well. If you hear me sniffle, cough, sneeze, shiver, anything like that, nature's absolutely jumping me. But look, today's YouTube video, I want to go over Paldea Evolved. Look, Paldea Evolved is what I believe is one of the most underrated Scarlet and Violet sets. Now, I say that all the time. Personally, if I had to name the number one Scarlet and Violet set underrated of all time, Scarlet and Violet base set. But Paldea Evolved is that close second because you can still find this product for $5 a pack. Now, why is that so important? Is because you can pull stuff that is more than $5. So I'm going to go over in this video for stuff for collectors. So if collectors want good value for their cards, as well as I'm going to go over people that, want to flip cards, want to sell cards, or if you're a small business like me, like if y'all don't know, well, actually, as of right now, majorscollects.com is going to be down for the next week. And the reason is I'm going to be helping my sister move, and that's in a whole different state. So my Majors Collect store is going to be down for the next week, and then when I come back, I will be able to help you guys, help you guys with your Pokemon needs. So if you're wondering, when I come back, Celebrations, Brilliant Stars, Shining Fates, all those packs will be on my website. But like I said, for the next week, I'm going to have the website down. So if you're wondering if you're a Noble customer or if you're a new customer, anything like that, why you can't get into the store, for the next week, it's going to be closed. But start the snibble. Let's go over some of the best cards. So number one is the Magikarp. Now I went over in a recent video, this card sold for $700. That was obviously manipulation of the market, but that still doesn't have an effect on the price of this. Now, PSA 10, we can actually check on eBay if we wanted to. And I think we will. So we'll just go to eBay real quick. I just want to show how much the PSA 10 is selling for. I can't stand when it tells me all that. Okay. All right. Paldea Evolved. There we go. PSA 10. And then what we can do is we can scroll all the way down. And then we can go to last recently sold. And this is how I like to base off a lot of my prices. So raw is 200, but that was like a bidding war, so that's a whole different thing. 1400 last recently sold. Authenticate, 1400. So this is a $1,400 card, which if you really think about it, if you buy a card for $200, yes, this is a high risk, but if it's good condition, which I guess I should say this, the reason why it's such an expensive card is not only is it Magikarp, but Paldea Evolved had a really bad print run. So this happens very often, believe it or not, where a lot of prints of a lot of sets have very bad quality. Like I had an ETB of Obsidian Flames, and I was pulling out literally damaged cards, like fresh out of the pack from ETBs. Like there happens where sets just have really bad conditioning, and Paldea Evolved is one of them. So that's one of the reasons why the PSA 10 is $1,400. Granted, it's also Magikarp, but that's the biggest reason is Paldea Evolved just had a really, really bad print run, and we haven't heard anything from Pokemon whether or not we're going to get a new print. So that's why these PSA 10s are selling at such a high amount. So last recently sold, we can see that's obviously the Japanese, mildly played, still sold for a lot. 273, 230, 260, 200, 274. So over $200 plus. 344. That doesn't sound unrealistic, to be honest. It was probably, if something sells for $40 higher than the normal price, that I would think would possibly mean is that card was such good condition. That's, I'm assuming, what that type of price would mean. That's kind of how I see it personally. But we have other cards in this set, including the Iono, which I have. And this is one of the cards where I've talked about to where I'm holding on to for the future. Now, if you're wondering why this is one of the cards I've held on to, for one, I found it at a card shop, and I was able to see in person that it was really good condition. So that was my big, okay, I'll pick it up. And I bought it for $60. So the reason I picked up this card was not only was the condition good, but also there's a lot of different art in this trainer to where I could see it doing huge potential in the future. So that is the Pikachu, the Eevee, the Magnemite. And I want to talk about the fact that there's a lot of full art trainers that a lot of folks forget that are actually still very pricey. So there's stuff from Plasma Freeze, Plasma Storm, or actually, let me just show you so you guys can kind of give an idea. So from Plasma Storm, a lot of people remember Black and White for some of these cards, Lugia, Blastoise, but there's also cards like Chorus, where it's a $100 card for it being a full art trainer. Or if we go to even Ultra Prism, Lily, $400+ card. Then we have the Cynthia, but like Celestial Storm, Licia. That's a $200+ card, 150 even damaged. You know what I mean? We have even the Lucamine from Ultra Prism. This card used to be so dirt cheap, and now it's selling for so high amounts. So I wanted to show this. Oh, even this Mars, $50 card, $40+ card, Gardenia. I was looking at this card yesterday. I might pick me up a copy of this because I have the what's the other Lana full art? Hold on. I have one of the Lana alt arts. This one, the one from Twilight Masquerade. This one's going up in price, which is nice. I have one of these copies coming in soon from my friend from Arizona, which I'm going to hold on to because we have them, all these trainers. But the reason why I wanted to bring the trainer full art up is because every single time we get a full art trainer over time in history, these prices have just gone so high. The demand for it might not always be there, but there's always collectors out there for full art trainers, and full art trainers just always have great value. Fantastic, beautiful value, if you will. So this price at the moment is at $66.92. We go to last recently sold, we see it at $75 with the near mint. That would make sense. There's no prices right here that seem gouging at all, which is great. That means like this card just has good potential to be able to pick up, because if someone does a buyout of this card, which is very, very possible, then this card's going to skyrocket. Now, with these buyouts, a lot of times the price will go down slightly, but every single time a buyout occurs, the price will guaranteed have a flat line of a higher price no matter what. Like if we go, I believe the Boss's Order was one of them that had a buyout. I believe it's this one. So this, if we go to 1 year, I think it was this card or one of the other cards, but I'm just going to try and tell you an example and hopefully you can image it in your head. A card had a buyout, so it went from $2 to about 13 or like $2 to a high amount. And then it went down to $8 and flatlined at $8. So now the card's now an $8 card instead of a $2 card even after the buyout. So no matter what, as soon as a card has a buyout, it's not going to be back at that $2 price anymore, or back at that first original price. So that's why I always try to pick up expensive cards or nice illustration like alt art trainers, because they always have value in the future. Tyranitar is one of the most popular Pokemon I could think of when it comes to like those big mega Pokemon. As well as there's like I think there's a Scaraptor in the back, a couple other Pokemon there. The price is going up 100%. I love to see this. It kind of had like a down point at the $36, but it's at $43 at the moment. Most recent sale for $58. That makes sense. It's Tyranitar. This card's definitely going to start going up way more in price. I can only imagine what the PSA 10 of this is going for. I think this would just look great in a slab. So I can definitely see this being a $60 card in the next coming up couple weeks. So it's a nice card for sure. Again, especially in the PSA 10, since Paldea Evolve has a really bad printing condition. Now we have the Raichu. Now the Raichu is down a little bit, but it's still up compared to what it was in December. December, it was at 34. Now it's at 51. So even though it's not at that 57 mark, it's still at a really good price. So last recently sold 42, 55, 55. Probably like almost a $50 card as of right now. It's really nice. It's obviously it's super popular because Raichu. Make sure I'll stay hydrated. But it's just a good card. Like it's just a nice looking card. It's a pricey card, but it's something that I think a lot of folks would like in their binder. Next one is Baxcalibur. The reason this card had a buyout was because of the artist, Tomokazu. Tomokazu is one of the most popular Pokemon artist designers. So I would, at any reason, if you were able to pick up this card, I would, because this card not only had a buyout before, but it could happen again. So this is a great example of a buyout. It went from $10, it went all the way up to $55, and it's at $40. Yes, this could go down more to like $30, $25, but it's never going to go back down to $10, $11. So yes, this card had a buyout, but this card will never go back to the price where it recently, like when it last was. Does that make sense? So this card is super nice. This is going to probably forever be a $20, $25 card, and it's just only going to go up from here. It's a really nice card, a lot of color to it, but this is one of those cards that you can pull out of a $5 pack. Next one is probably one of my personal favorites is the Marill. There's the Bruxish, Clauncher, Luvdisc, Toxapex, bunch of other Pokemon. Pikumuku, I believe, or something like that. A lot of cute Pokemon in this art. And this card's starting to go up. Went from 20 in December. Now it's at 36 at the moment. PSA 10 probably sells for a lot as well. 36, 39, 38. It's definitely going to be about $40, $45 card in the next couple weeks. It's a nice card. Like, I don't know what else I could say about the card. It's a card where you look at it and you could, if you saw this card and you're like 55, $60, you're like, okay, makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those type of cards where I feel like you don't really bat an eye, if you will. We have Chi-Yu EX. Now, this card's starting to go up. Now, granted, this Pokemon is not the most popular, but I think what's really making this a really nice card is just the design. And a lot of times, like, when I look into investing to a card, I try and not look at it as just like, is this popular Pokemon? Because a lot of times, it's not just for the fact that it's a popular Pokemon. Like, if looking for the investor side, you got to look at the art. Does the art look nice to you? It's common sense. It's like it might not be your favorite card in the world, but if you look at it from like a bird's eye view and you're like, oh, that card looks nice, like it has a nice design, there's gonna be other folks thinking like you. So that's what I would do personally. And if you're a collector, dude, this would look fire in a binder or look fire in a slab. You know what I mean? Because this is the thing. Yes, I'm a seller, but I'm also a collector as well. I collect Lucarios personally. I like collecting Altar PSAs as well, but I think I low-key have expensive taste, but you know what I mean? Like, this is just a nice card. This card's been going up a lot. So it went from 22 to 33. This card is just starting to pick up value just because Paldea Evolve in general is picking up in value. Then we have stuff like Tinkaton. This is just a very girly pop type of card. Now, granted, I'd still buy it and I'd still call it girly pop. This is kind of just how I think of it. It's a really nice, cute card. You know what I mean? I think this is super sick. I was expecting this card to go up in price as soon as I saw this, when I saw it on like the card list in the binder. This just makes sense. I feel like a lot of people are just going to want it in their binder. Like, I think that's just like a binder card. Then we have, of course, Fuecoco. Fuecoco is a stage 1. Now, this card, I'm surprised didn't have a buyout. I mean, you could call that maybe a buyout from how many people are here, but went from $10, now it's at $20, about almost $30 at the moment. Now, you could say if this card had a buyout, people would say this is going to go all the way back down, but that's not the case. If this card did actually have the buyout as of right here, the lowest it's going to go back down is like 25. It's never going to go back to that 12 to 13. This is a basic Pokemon. It's a starter Pokemon, and it's just a really nice artwork. A lot of time, I mean, look, even you could just see the soda or drinks, the car. It's a very like relatable looking image. So I think a lot of people just are going to like the artwork of this. And on top of that, something I look at is the fact that there's not much text in the attacks. Now, no one really looks at that too further if you ask anyone like normal, but since I'm not normal, I look at the artwork and I see the fact like, oh, I can see more of the design, and that kind of itches me further to wanting to get the card because I can see more of the artwork. I'm someone who really loves the illustration of the cards, and I mean, I can't be the only person that looks at like a Pokemon, and if you see so much text, you're gonna be like, come on, like you could have removed some of those text, you know what I mean? So that's my personal thought on it. That's a really nice card. I had this card, but unfortunately mine's damaged. The reason it is because I was moving from Arizona. It was in one of my boxes and it got damaged. So I still have this card. However, it's damaged. I don't know what in the world I'm gonna do with it. I'm not just gonna give it to a card shop because then, you know, I don't know if the card is like, I don't know. It might be a cool binder card or something, but I don't want to give it to a card shop because it's like then they have to deal with selling a damaged card, and I don't want to sell a damaged card because I don't want someone to buy a damaged card. You know what I mean? But it's a super nice card. If you get it not damaged, it's a really, really nice card. Now, Masshold is one of those new Pokemon. We actually released it in Pokemon Go a while ago, and it's just been a really cute Pokemon a lot of people enjoy. I mean, there's a lot of mouses, tandem mouses in this artwork, a lot of colors. Went from 14. It like didn't have any buyout, but it had a lot of interest, and this card's definitely going to be going up a lot more in value, definitely in the future. I can see that card definitely being more expensive just because of all the colors. The nature looks super, super nice. Now, on the next page, we have honestly some cooler cards that I feel like definitely deserve a bit more hype. We have the Skeletorage. I don't know how to say that, but this Pokemon card has been going up like crazy. Now, it's gone from all the way down to 17. It's at 27 at the moment of $10. This card's having an almost type of buyout. Now, my buyout, when I say buyout, I mean a card selling like 80 to 90 copies in one day. Usually that type of situation like that, it turns to a buyout, and then it goes up to 100, 120. But this card makes sense for it to have that sort of type of buyout. Look, I always call out about the car. I've talked about this card very many times on this channel, and I really think this card is going to go up a lot more in value, especially when a lot more people figure out what this Pokemon is. Like, once they know, like, once people tell them about it. Sprigatito. It's a basic Pokemon, very beautiful nature. This card, super, super nice. Having a little buyout as well, but the 70, 80 range as well. It's selling for only 20 at the moment. This is going to be way more of an expensive card coming up soon. It's super nice. It's super, super nice. Then we have the Frigibax. This is from the Tomokazu. So this card, since obviously the stage 1 evolution we saw before was going up insane, Tomokazu, this card's going to go up as well. Tomokazu, of course, is the illustrator, if you are wondering. This card's going up in price. The reason why you can't really find much is because not that many people are finding this card. Now, some people had the same thought. Since that other card's having a buyout, that's why this is spiked up like that, because other people want to try and predict it. And if you're an investor, you kind of have to do the same as well. Now, this card had a buyout as well. Artifax, but Tomokazu. It makes sense. So, look, even though this card had a buyout, it's never going to go back down to that $7, $8 mark ever. Yes, it sold for a couple days at $40, but it's at $23. It's not going to go below $15. Like, that's just not going to happen. So, really nice artwork. I should have picked this up beforehand. I didn't know where to find this, to be honest, but definitely a very nice card. There's, like, the EXs. I think a lot of people don't even know this card, like the Mismagius. Now, I think this card is very unique. Me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I can see a lot of folks being like a big fan of it, like, and a lot of other people. By the way, when I say folks, I mean just like other people. That's something I say. So before I get comments about it, no, it's just other people. But this card, I can see a niche of people liking this, which I think is why this card's gonna like start going up a little. I mean, it went up $10. Don't get me wrong, but like I can see it going up a bit more over time, just a bit slower. Now, there's a couple cards here. Heracross. I actually bought mine from a card shop for like $5, $6. I think it was because I bought 2 Japanese booster boxes, and then I talked down the Heracross, and they're like, sure, throw that in. Look, this card. It's every reason in the world for this to go up. It's a super nice card. Heracross doesn't have like the best history, but it's just the nature, the street, super nice. This card's going up like butter. Now, granted, it's not showing that much, but the moment's at 17, 18. This could definitely be a $25, $30 card in my personal opinion. Super nice card. But even the Iono, even the normal full art is starting to go up in price. I think that's simply because a lot of people maybe want to get the alt art, but instead some people might opt in for this one because they can still get the Iono just, $40 cheaper. That's what I'm assuming why some people pick up this card, or they just might like it. But I think some people pick up this card because they might not be able to get the other one, because the other one's not that easy to get, because not only is it pricey, but sometimes it's difficult to find. Now, Paldean Wooper. This card, for some reason, is going up like crazy. Now, it's not having a buyout or anything like that. This card is just going up in value. That's just how it is. It's a super adorable card. I feel like there's not much more to say with the Wooper. Then we have Sudowoodo. A lot of people are starting to like Sudowoodo. This artwork, I feel like this was kind of like not really looked at too much as a really nice card. And then I think over time it grew on people, to where people see the Sudowoodo and think, oh, that's super unique of a card. So at the moment, let's go to 1 year. It's having like almost a little buyout right here, which is kind of crazy. Like I said, when it sells to 80 to 90 copies after the set's been out for a very, very long time, that's a good intel of the fact that this card could be having a buyout soon. So super nice card, definitely going up in value, and I can see that card definitely going up way, way more. Pyroar, this one was super underrated for the longest time, and now people are starting to catch on to it. This is a really nice card. The first time I've ever seen Pyroar was in Flashfire with the Holo Rare. Pyroar's never really had like any ultra rare or anything sort of like that. So this is like the first time we're seeing Pyroar with some nice artwork, but as like a value card. Because like I said, if we look up Pyroar, I'm going to show y'all. The last time Pyroar has been really significant is Flashfire. Now, granted, it was also in Phantom Forces as a holo, but I remember it was from the XY Flashfire. But yes, they've been in sets like Lost Origin, Forbidden Light. But again, it hasn't been a valuable card since Flash Fire or Phantom Forces. Yes, I guess Steam Siege Break, but I think I bat eyes when it comes to break cards. Those aren't really, you know what I mean? Yes, break cards, whatever, but this is the first time where Pyroars genuinely had good value for a card. So I think a lot of people are underestimating that. Now, I want to show another Pokemon, like Mantike. This is from Paradox Rift. I have this card. I plan on grading this card. Mantike is in the same boat as Pyroar. This is why you should buy a lot of copies of this card. This card, other than Paradox Rift, haven't been printed since Diamond and Pearl or Mysterious Treasures. Like, it's sometimes you gotta like think, and it's like, or when you want to like think the best, go back to see when the card was last printed like as a valuable ultra rare. Like Pyroar is one of those great examples, just like Mantike, of this is a card you should definitely pick up because it's gonna take a while for them to make another Pyroar with nice value to it. You know what I mean? So I personally, when I find copies of Pyroar, I'm holding on to them because just like Mantike, it's difficult for that Pokemon to get a nice valued card because a lot of times Pokemon wants to print either new Pokemon or very, very popular Pokemon that have already been in like generation 1 to 3. Does that make sense? Yes, Pyroar's in like that. You'll understand what I mean. Ticketough is going up because it's like a little girly pop, I feel like. But I mean, look, if you like it, I'm not dissing you. I like the card. When I think girly pop, I think like pink and purple. But we have the SQ. This is a very like unique card. This card could potentially happen to buy out. Potentially. But very nice card. Really, I can see this card going up a lot more in value. I've talked about this card before. I think this card has huge potential. This card's never had like anything like this. Like this card, if we look it up, this is the first time this card's had a nice showing. Other than this one, I feel like everyone bats an eye. Like, it's had a couple ultra rares and it's come up, but the most valuable SQ is this one. I really feel like this one's super underrated as well from Obsidian Flames. It's very, like, this reminds me of Adventure Time. But this card in specific, it's like the first time this one's actually had value to it. So I feel like this Pokemon is going to start being more valuable. Very cool card. I feel like a lot of times with Pokemon is like, once a card gets very valuable, then that Pokemon starts getting very valuable. And people are going to look up, oh, what Pokemon, like what type of cards does this Pokemon have? And then they're going to want to collect the other ones because they like the Pokemon so much. You know what I mean? Like, once people start figuring out about this card, then they might start liking this Pokemon, and then they're going to look up that Pokemon to try and find cards like it. Then we have Boss's Order, which is interesting. I've never batted an eye to this card. I can see it could be like niched, you know what I mean? Like I could see why this card would get picked up. It's a very cool looking card, I'm not gonna lie. Very pirate vibe. I think it's kind of dope, but not something I like really look into. Tauros is something I've talked about. This card is having a buyout at the moment as it looks like. This is a very nice card. The sunset's beautiful. Looks like there's camels in the background. All of these bowls. Like, this is super dope in my personal opinion. I think this looks very, very nice. I like this card, and I'd personally pick it up if I can find a good copy of it. Then we have the Grusha, which I have a copy of, and I'm holding on to. It is having a buyout at the moment, which is, look, 120, 100, that's a lot. This card's having a buyout at the moment. I've talked about this card very many times where I'm like, this card will have a buyout, and I have a copy of this card. I think this card has been super underrated. I think the Snowy, the little Staryu right there, I think it's Staryu, one of the two, and then just the Pokemon looking out. I think this is a very unique card. I think a lot of times we don't see cards where it's pointed towards a house with Shorty looking out the window with Pokemon sitting there as well. It's a very unique, a very nice card, and I could see why this card's having a buyout. So, obviously, like the price being $11, $12, this card, I believe, is going to skyrocket and then never go back down to $12 to $11 again. You know what I mean? So, yes, you could technically say a buyout is like manipulation of the market. That's pretty true. But as long as you're not the one manipulating the market and you're able to pick up a card or two before it skyrockets, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with looking at the market, being like, okay, this card's having a buyout, so you make sure you pick up a copy of your card. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't, just want to make sure that's clear. Like, there's nothing wrong with, like, picking up a card because you know it's going to have a buyout. You know what I mean? Like, you're not the one manipulating the market, so there's no worries. A couple other cards as well I'm going to go over real quick. The Quaxly, I think this just makes sense. It's a stage 1 Pokemon. This Pokemon isn't, like, popular as of yet, I feel like. I think there's definitely room for it to get more popular. It's a super cute card, though. I think since it's a basic Pokemon as well, it's going to start going up. The I don't know how to say that. This card's having a little buyout, 100%. I can see this card for sure having a buyout. A lot of YouTubers have been talking about it, so a lot of people are already planning to do this. Like, I've heard, I forget his name, but there's a YouTuber out there, you probably watched him before, where he talks about cards he thinks are going to go up. This is one of them, and I personally agree with his opinion that this card is just super nice. I've had this card at one point, but I had to sell it to pay bills. And then we had the Fletchinder. This is like one of the last cards I want to go over. This one reminds me of the Flareon Altar promo. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. We have the Flareon promo from the collection boxes. Let me see if I can find it on here. So this is the vibe I get from the Fletchinder. So this is a very unique type of thought I feel like to have of remembering like the Flareon. If I can find this card, I know dang well I'm buying it because the promos are really hard to get, but if I ever find anyone selling them, I'm picking them up. If they're at a good price, obviously. But that's the vibe I get from this Fletchinder card. And that's why I think this card's definitely going to have a buyout of some sort. It's already starting to have that, of course. But I feel like the buyout I'm thinking is going to be like a 120, 130 sold. Just because it's a $10 card. So you're not investing that much if you think about it. But it's just a super nice card. I really think this card has a lot of potential for the future. It's a really nice artwork on the card. Now, there's other stuff as well. Of course, there's a lot of different cards. I've actually picked up a Tropius because I have this and I'm holding on to it. This card's having a little buyout at the moment, and 80 to 90 copies are being sold in the last day. I like this card. This reminds me a lot of Puerto Rico because I've been to Puerto Rico before. So that's the kind of vibe I got. Now, a lot of people looking at this probably won't think that, but I think a lot of people are just going to like the tropical vibe of this Tropius. So I picked up this card personally. I'm holding on to it because I think this card has a lot of potential. I actually picked this card up from Smoke and Mirrors. You might know that place. But I picked up the single. I think I bought it for like $8. So it hasn't gone up that much as of yet. But I think this card just has a lot of potential for the future. And a lot of the times when you look at a card that you want to invest in, you got to think of the future of it. If the card has really nice artwork, a lot of times it could go up. Like, I think this card's going to go up because of the Pokemon art in there. Like, it's already having a buyout because people are seeing the Jigglypuff, the Skwovet, and the Delibird. That's all you need to know. Like, that's all you need to buy a card. Like, a lot of people can just block out the man, you know what I mean, and just buy the card for it. I'm going to go look for this card after this video because this card has so much. It is a $6 altar art to get Jigglypuff, Skwovet, and Delibird. Dude, let me just show you if there is any Delibirds ever in any artwork that has value to it. Look, if I look up Delibird, look, the only value, Skyridge, Pokemon League, you can't even count Pokemon League. Neo Revelation, like, they haven't made anything Delibird like. Now, they made what's the set called? Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift. They made the, from the promo box. Wow, Groudon hit $100? Sorry. From the, if we go to, where are the ETBs at? All right, hold on. By the way, I should definitely make a video about this set because this set's underrated too. But, where is it? They made the character rares for Paradox Rift from the ETB really dope. Like, is it really that cheap for the... No way. Oh my goodness. Wait, how... Hold on. What if we go best selling? I feel like that would make sense. Let's see if we can find the ETB. By the way, 64 ETBs. I found one for 40 a couple days ago. Absolutely crazy. Let's see if I can see it from the back. Pause. You don't show the promo? That's unfortunate. Wow. Okay, hold on. Paradox Rift. Like, is this gonna help me? It's not. Okay, whatever. There's a character rare in this ETB that looks like Delibird. However, we haven't gotten a Delibird character rare. So, the reason I say this is because you got to think about it in some ways. Just like the Mantike, just like the Pyroar, some of these Pokemon haven't really had that type of value to the cards yet. And I think this card is going to start giving these Pokemon more value. Does that make sense? Like, yes, these Pokemon are already popular, but for Scarlet and Violet wise, like, I mean, have we even gotten anything Jigglypuff as well? Jigglypuff. We haven't gotten anything, I believe, for Scarlet and Violet other than Paldean Fates. And Jigglypuff is a really popular Pokemon. We haven't gotten anything for Scarlet and Violet. Now, yes, maybe in more Scarlet and Violet sets in the future, we're going to get something. But as of right now, this card's only $7, and you can get a Jigglypuff that's very open to see, a Delibird peeking out, and a Skwovet. These are very cute, popular Pokemon a lot of people know. I think this card just has so much potential, and it's so cheap. So if you watch to the end of this video, this is the #1 card I would recommend you buying because of how cheap it is. So you're buying into it with barely any risk, and it only has potential of going up. So thank you all so much for showing up to today's video. I got to go to physical therapy. I'll see you on the next one. God bless.